So I just wanted to go back on that. I only suspected that my brother and father and other nearby people had known of this horrible, horrible thing that had happened to me, based on their behavior and my PTSD, hyper focus, vigilance to other people's emotions. Like, like trying to prepare, for your ultimate freak out or whatever drug addiction shit I was exposed to as a kid. Um, and so I and when I tried to tell Jacob, I really knew he knew when I really tried to tell him, because his response was, I have no sympathy for someone who put themselves in that situation, when he had himself told me that he, him and Dennis would go get put in trapped houses or hang out at drug houses on days on end for fun, and like I shouldn't be scared because I came to him scared when it happened. I was like, that's not the life for me. you know um and So it was just like, it didn't make sense. It was like he was just basically, he's like, I to him verified that something that he had heard was true, that he himself didn't want to believe. And it's not as simple as that. You got to look at everyone in the situation and everyone's place in the situation, everyone's motivations in the situation, and everyone's reactions to the situation. And, I think if people did that, they'd get a little more insight. So, anyways, and then I try to tell my dad, I'm like, people need to know that she thinks this way in her head. Like, we have other kids around her, and it's something that never dawned on me, till I had my own. And so I tried to tell my father, and he ran out. I could not tell you how quick he went. I mean, I got like 5-10 words into the story, and he's like, I gotta go. I think he came back, and he probably, being the intellectual he did, he probably recorded our entire conversation. I'm sure if I ever had to go to court for this, that this would be, he would have, me talking to him about it, because I felt interrogated. I tried to tell him, I tried to come out and tell him what had happened to me, and I felt interrogated. Like, did you guys fight? Did you do this? Did you do that? And it's like I couldn't even get my thoughts straight to think about these things, and I didn't even want to. I just it was overwhelming. And so anyways, so then I tell my brother, and my brother was probably the only one who showed me what felt like compassion, even though it was very distant and removed, and he just honestly wanted to get past the topic. And for me, I felt like he tried to listen, and I felt, okay, thank you for that. And I understand, like, who wants to have this conversation, who wants to think about these sick things, who wants to talk about something so gross and awful, and who wants to think about that in their own family. No one, fucking no one. I guess maybe in a way that's why I understand why people would have thought the way they did or wanted to do what they've wanted to do, because, like, if I were in that situation where I felt like these things were true, I'm sure I would feel full of passion and hatred as well. I just wish people would take the time to actually witness what the reality is, instead of taking someone else's word for it. So we moved down to Reading, staying with my sister, who, like I've said, she's like a mirror to me in a lot of ways. My foster sister has a lot of the abandonment issues I do. We think in the same manner. We have our roots thought revolving around our abandonment. Like, and sometimes I feel like no one really understands that, except for her and me. Like, sometimes I know the way she's thinking before she'll come over and be like, oh, you were thinking this, and this. And she's like, yeah, I was. We can laugh about it now as we're older, but when we were kids, it was like, we felt like the world was against us, and maybe we had each other's back. Maybe. But when I stayed with her, it was just really volatile. She was going through a lot of stress in her life. I was trying to help. We paid half. We paid the electric bill, the propane, half the propane, and we brought food in the house. We took care of her kids while she was working, and her baby daddy was in jail, and we did what we could, and we lived, and it wasn't all that bad reflecting on it. It was just difficult for us, and eventually we get evicted from there and we get into a hotel. We use social services programs to line us up with a rental, and we've been here over a year now. And I mean, it's a nice little place. I'm happy here. Would I love a house on some land? Yes, but am I happy? Yeah. You know, I know I was lucky to have all the things I've had in life, and honestly, I am pretty happy with not very much. All I've ever wanted was to have my family and a place to be with my family and watch them grow, and here I am. So that's why it's like the most difficult to accept that all of this is happening, too, because it's like, fuck, like, I was just like this whole time running through a tunnel and just hoping, like, if I keep going through, like, you know, everyone's, you know, see me who I am and I'll just get through it, you know. And it's like at the end of the tunnel there was no light, it was a fire, and I'm going down in flames. So you know, this brings me to the incident. So last November 30th of 2019, I'm gonna say, right? Yeah, 19. My brother had a sporting event. It was his first fight, his first sporting event, and Jacob was talking with a fellow in the audience, a man I now know by the name of Frank Crabtree. I know he's a friend of my father's, and honestly, it was my brother talking about You Betcha in certain situations that didn't make sense that really helped me tie it all together. So he had spoken with this guy, and this guy had said, like, at the sporting event, like, fairly, like, loudly, that he put formaldehyde in her respirator, and it wasn't long after that. And she had started coughing up black, and, you know, Jacob's response was, we had already thought about that, and I had smoke coughs. I was coughing gray for a little bit, and I was concerned about it, but he kept telling me it was normal. I don't know if it is or isn't normal still at this point, but he was trying to reassure me that it was normal. You can play with your sand. Go ahead. And that had happened in Nice. I started getting that cough in Nice. So we went to that sporting event, and I overheard that, but I just kind of like filed it away. I was like, that's important. That's how it's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. That's happening next. And I didn't know what formaldehyde was. Did not even know how to pronounce it right when I tried to spell it the first time. Oh my gosh. But I ended up just kind of like I do, just like, okay, that's a thing, and moving on. And it wasn't until I saw a You Betcha obituary to the woman whose name escapes me right now. I'm so sorry. If anyone named deserves to be remembered, I guess it would be hers. His wife had passed after getting aggressive lung cancer. So I'm thinking about that, and in the coming days, I sleep heavy, hard. I wake up and I'm nauseous and weak. My eyes are dry and they are leaking. They're dry, like I feel like I'm just blinking constantly, like so dry, but they're also watering, like profusely, like just tears down my face, non-emotional, just watering. I was getting white crystals in my tear ducts that were unlike anything I'd ever seen. Like, I had staph on my face, I guess, at this point. So I had these marks on my face, and I had one right here on the side of my mouth like this. And I woke up and my face was numb, like all around where that cut was. It was numb, and I messaged my sister about how I was waking up tasting latex, and I didn't know what was going on. And then I messaged, I told Jacob about my face being numb, and the look on his face, he's almost amused. I guess it wasn't really that I even started getting scared until then, you know, because I thought I I'm not doing anything wrong, you know? I'm not hurting anyone, and it would take a lot for me to feel like I could ever have the capacity to kill someone ever. Just didn't think it would be so easy. So I'm talking, I couldn't even eat apple. I remember I took a bite of apple and I spit it in the trash after trying to chew it because I could not. And at this point I started talking to people. Like a week later, I'm coughing up black. Big, big black. And I was terrified. I just tried, Jacob and I were butting heads a little bit. I was sick. I was tired. I felt like he wasn't helping. And, he says, well, why don't you follow your intuition? And so I went to the police station and I told them all of this. I told them everything. And I tried to make a police report. I ended up getting 5150'd. And they put me back there. And, I'm coughing up black. I'm showing the nurses. The nurses look scared for me. But no one believes me. And so at this point, I make the decision to... Okay, well, you can go fix it downstairs. I'm laying brother down. I'll be down in a minute. Well, then you can wait for me to go fix it. Sorry, it's like pulling teeth trying to get any time to do something like this. And now I've lost track of where I was. Oh, God. So I went to the hospital. I basically knew they were going to do a psych eval, and I was like, okay. Only time will tell what is and isn't real, And so I was just like, I have PTSD, this is a pandemic. I could see how maybe being out of control and just feeling that fear could have, I'm getting these physical symptoms. I told them about all the physical symptoms I was having and that I was just fearful, and maybe my brain just put these things together, and then maybe they're of no relation to one another. And I'm just going to continue, he's like, okay, well, go see a therapist and follow up with your doctor. And I've been seeing a therapist. I've been going to the doctor. I was very emotional at this point, and I called my brother, and I also told him everything. And he was shocked and visibly shooken. And he turns to someone and he's like, no, there's nothing. He's like, there's a pill, a cancer pill that you can take, but it's like 1 week on, 1 week off, and 1 week on. And I don't remember how much. It was a large amount. He's like 30,000 or something. I don't know, 60,000. I don't know how much it was. But he said like a large amount, like an amount, like who would have that much money, to just... He's like, but it wouldn't work, but I'll gladly take the money. And then he turns back and he's talking to me. And, sorry. And so at this point... I was prescribed a Z-Pak, a 7-day medication, which I took, and I saw a reduction in everything. The black cough all but went away. I got more energy. My face cleared up. And then a couple weeks later, I don't even think it was a couple weeks later, probably just like intermittently, like, I don't know, it just progressively got worse again. And I got some... So what brought me into the hospital to get the Z-Pak actually was I had these huge staph infections on my legs because I'd put Silver X on my face. Someone told me to get Silver X. It made my face clear up overnight. It was perfect. It's like, oh, so I do have staph, I guess, that I've this whole time that I just didn't know what these painful oozing sores were. Staph. And the next day I woke up and I had these big sores on my legs, like these big oozing, like huge, and I would like run it under hot water. I think there's a video. I'd run it under hot water, I'd do the dishes, and I would look at it again, and it would just be running down my legs, just pouring out of me. And I got that tested, and they said it was positive for staph, so that's why they gave me the Z-Pak. They gave me the Z-Pak for my lungs, and then it was 2 weeks later that the staph infection took me to the hospital. So it was a week after I finished the medication, another week, I had this huge staph. I went in there and they gave me Bactrim and Keflex. Keflex is in the family of medications that I am allergic to, amoxicillin. I'm not sure if it's a common prescription for staff. I don't know. I'm not a medical clinician or anything. I'm not educated on that. But I took the Bactrim, and it cleared up. Or no, I didn't. I just now took the Bactrim. I waited a couple weeks, and but it was still receding and going away. I've been treating it, and now I'm 2 days. I have one more day, I think, of the Bactrim to take, and it looks like it's going away. So, oops, I don't know how to get that. Yeah, I hope that doesn't ruin my whole video. Again, if anyone knows how to edit at all, would really appreciate it. Okay, so yeah, so I talked to a social worker, talked to the police, I've talked to mental health clinicians. I'm aware that this could or could not be a reality, and I choose to live in my actions as if it were not a reality. I don't know if that's for my own mind, or I don't want to. Even so, if I did uproot my life, then I have to struggle to provide for my kids, leaving them with a stranger, not having, anyone to help me out, and I don't have any ability to take care of my health concerns. I can't. I feel like I have to be in this situation. I have to stay and take care of my kids, give them the best I can. And on the flip side, it's like, after I'm gone, they're gonna have this big loving family, and they're gonna have maybe possibly millions of dollars. It's and I'm supposed to compete with that when I know I'm damaged goods, and that I am not the best person always that I can be. I have a temper, I get overwhelmed, I get frustrated, I don't give my kids as much time as I can, because sometimes I need to clean, and so I don't know, it's just a personal struggle to feel that way, I guess. So now I'm in Reading, and I've made all these reports, and my cough went away after that medication, and the staff came back, got more medication for it, and I don't know where it's going to go from here. I don't even want to try and draw conclusions from this limited anything I could. Why would I want to? I don't think I'm going to know anything that's going to happen in the future. I just hope that this is all a figment of my imagination. I hope that I'm gonna live a long and happy life and get to watch my children grow to be their best thems, and this will just all be behind me one day, and I'll just think, wow, what a crazy thing to have thought and lived through. I'm so glad I didn't do anything drastic, and I love my family, yada yada yada. So that's all I got to say about it. I don't even know if I'm gonna do another video or any more detailed or anything. That's it.